Hey there, I'm Mitch Goldberg. Welcome to the live stream, to the pod. It gets worse. Stocks down more today than yesterday's bad day. And since the lower the market goes, when the market goes down again the same amount or more, it's a bigger percentage loss. So stocks really took it on the chin. I have to double check, but I believe the S&P 500 is officially in bear market territory. And we're going to talk about what pushed the market down even more, what could come next. It's really hard to predict because this is based on a personality style, not based on facts, figures, or economic numbers. So let's talk about this. I'll give you the quick skinny. I'll let you get out of here for the weekend. I have to get out of here for the weekend, and we're going to have a lot to think about. Should you be buying now? Should you be selling? Should you should you get out completely? Should you worry about your job, the economy, all of these things? It's just a jumble of worries. So let me roll a quick intro, and we're going to talk about some important things. Okay. All right, we're back. Thank you so much. Let's talk about some important things here. Yeah, the market's important, but it's all important, and it's tough to think about what you want to talk first. So I'm going to say this: if for me as a financial advisor, the most important thing is to focus on the things that I can control. And that goes for you also. I'm focusing on my clients' accounts, my clients' plans. My clients still have questions every day. Like, should I take the dividends and interest out of my account or should I reinvest? When should I stop reinvesting and start taking the dividends and interest out? Should I claim Social Security now or wait? Should we do tax loss selling now? Should I retire now? Thinking about buying another house or joining a different club. Can I afford it? Am I trying to justify something I want with my own little facts and figures, but they're not really accurate? I just want something. Can I actually afford to do it, Mitch? Should I send my kid to a private school? Should I borrow money out of my house? Should I take money out of home equity to pay for my child's college education? Should I convert to a Roth IRA? These are the kind of questions that we focus on. We obsess about them. And this is what I help people with today. Someone said, "Oh, you must be getting calls and talking to your clients." I still have to answer these questions, and these questions are more important than commiserating about the stock market and commiserating about the stock market and talking about tariffs all day and watching the computer because every minute there's another announcement. China announced that they're going to retaliate and put DuPont on their, I think Dow Chemical or DuPont on their list of naughty companies that aren't living up to China's standards. Retaliatory. China retaliated. And then Trump said he's digging in his heels and he's not going to negotiate. Then he says he is going to negotiate. And then he says tariffs are here to stay. There's a headline every 5 minutes. And if you stop and talk about the headline and I'm guilty of this too. Sometimes you just look at the computer and you start reading because the news coming out is so non-believable, and yet it's not fiction, it's fact, that you just keep stopping in amazement to look at the crazy headlines that are coming out. And it's mass confusion now. Like I have never seen a more confused market than I have now. I was around, I'm in the business since 1990, so I've seen a lot of stuff. I remember the tech record, remember 9/11. This is those were external events, but this is an internal event. This is somebody did this who has the power to impose tariffs, the president. And what's he really getting at? Is he waiting for companies to bow down to him, to pledge political loyalty, for countries to pledge some kind of political loyalty. What is he getting at? Like, what is he doing this for? It can't be about tariffs because the numbers that he made up about the tariffs are not real numbers. The countries that he said they're charging us 40 or 50 or 60%, it's all been looked at. And he probably thought nobody would fact check him. But these numbers are not actually real tariffs. And yet he's basing the tariffs he's putting on other countries on made up numbers. And when you start using fake numbers for economic policy, it's a freaking disaster. And that's what he's doing. And you could see it playing out. The Dow is down 1,600 points today. It's down here. I'll show you. Let me make this. Can you see that? Yeah. The Dow is down 2,300 today. So down about 4,000 points in 2 days. All right. It's a 10% correction between yesterday, 4% and 5%. So it's almost 10% correction in 2 days. Folks, that is a big one. NASDAQ more than 10%. Bear market territory now for the S&P. 5,000. I mean, the low estimates were in a really bad market. We're about 5,700 on the S&P. It's 5,000. Looking to go below 5,000 back into the fours. Okay, so some people say, well, but oil's going down. He promised to bring down the price of oil. Trump did. Oil is not going down because of lower regulation for drilling or more drilling in the United States. It's not even going down because of more drilling by OPEC, which is the case. They're pumping more oil. No, oil is going down this much, this far, this fast because of worries about demand destruction. Because when the United States goes into a recession, it typically drags the global economy with it, and therefore economies use less oil. Demand destruction. All right, the VIX over 40, it's 45. That's pretty high. The VIX was up, you see that, 50% today. When the VIX is over 40, that's when you go either way. It could get a lot scarier or not, but that's typically panic mode. And today had a sense of panic. It's a real sense of panic. There's no way we could afford to have these kinds of tariffs. There's no way. There's no way companies could move production to the United States overnight. Foreign companies and domestic companies who say they're going to build now in the United States and spend all this money, they might not do it. I don't think they do it. I think they think about it, they study it, they do the environmental impact studies, they do the balance sheet impact studies, they do the research and development, but they're just going to wait it out to see if the tariffs go away or if somebody else comes into power and removes the tariffs. Because if you build here with these tariffs and the tariffs go away, all of a sudden you're left with a high-cost factory that can't sell anything without losing money in every little item that you make. So I don't think they do it. I don't think, money's pouring into the United States. No, companies are taking their money that they were going to spend anyway in R&D and things like that, new plants and equipment, and they're just relabeling it as saying, oh, we're going to build now in the United States because of the tariffs. We're going to do it anyway. It makes less sense to do it with the tariffs, not more. Because now if the tariffs go away, did you really build a smart thing? Was it smart to do it? The cost to build everything is going up. Because remember, if you need building materials, you have to import some of it. So now the cost to build all these plants and factories is going to go up. Who does it get passed on to, those extra costs? You and me. Inflation. The Dow is down about 1,100 points in the middle, earlier in the day, let's say around noon. Then it was down 1,200 and then 1,300, then 1,100. And Federal Reserve Chairman Powell spoke. And I think investors were hoping that he would say something like, I'm going to cut rates and I'm going to make sure we protect the economy. We're worried. And that would give a little goose to the market, a little positive feeling. Didn't happen. He said, we're going to see how this affects inflation. And we're not doing anything now. And then Trump says, cut rates, stop being political. He's not being political. He's doing his job, balancing inflation risk with employment risk. The week that could change. We had a decent employment picture today. The employment non-farm payroll report came out today. but it was revised down for January and February. So the March number that came, even though today's April 4th, the March payroll figures came out today. They come out the first Friday of the new month. That'll probably be revised down too, and it didn't yet reflect all the government layoffs. Remember, government layoffs, if people are still getting some kind of severance package, they're not counted as layoffs until that stops. All right. But companies are trying to save money where they can. Consumers will do the same. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to get a lockdown. And basically what's going to happen is you're going to get a lockdown on spending all at once. And I believe we could be in a recession in a matter of weeks. That's what I believe. There's some people say, no, it's not that bad. It's that bad. I know a number of Wall Street strategists. JP Morgan said 60% of a recession chance, 60% chance of a recession. Goldman Sachs is like 35 or 40% chance. Someone else is like 30%. It's a cop out. So if a recession happens, you say, well, I said there's a chance of a recession, so I was right. If a recession doesn't happen, you could say, well, I didn't say it was 100%, just that there's a chance. How you could assign 40% or 60% chance of recession is beyond me. I'm at 100%. I'm at 100%. We're going into recession with the tariffs the way they are. 100%. In fact, if the tariffs went away and Trump said, mea culpa, I'm wrong, I'm not doing the tariffs, too late. Nobody trusts him. He's not a steady hand. He could change his mind. He could change his mind anytime he wants. And then you're back to the tariff war. People didn't expect China to come back with a retaliatory tariff of 34% on American goods in China. They thought China would negotiate. They expected all countries to negotiate. Nope. I think people are underestimating something. The Chinese threshold for pain, it's probably a lot greater than Americans' threshold for pain. We spoke about this yesterday. Americans want a good deal. They don't want to pay more for products and services that they use every day for patriotism. They just want the best possible deal and spend the least amount of money to get the most amount of stuff possible for that amount of money. That's what Americans want. And I think there was a gross miscalculation by the administration in terms of how much pain Americans could take. Now, some people agree with the plans. Some people think that the economy will come roaring back. I hope the stock market, I hope it comes roaring back. I plow my living in the stock market, right? Partially. I want the stock market to come back. We'll see. Maybe Trump does cave. I think he has a lot of pride, and I think he needs a way to save face. So he can't just cave. He's got to say, well, I did everybody a favor, which is why I got rid of the tariffs. I don't know who's going to give him that solution, but it's going to be really tough. And now with the economy slowing down and tax receipts going down, the economy is going to be in worse shape because the U.S. is going to have to borrow more money. That hurts defense. It hurts everything. So how does this affect you? Well, right now, people are rushing to buy cars who wanted to buy a car. People are stocking up on goods because they're afraid that either they're not going to get them or they're going to go up in price. That's behavioral change, and behavioral changes actually could cause inflation or deflation. I think people are worried. People are scared. And people are thinking that we're going to have scarcity. Just the belief that we're going to have scarcity means people are going to go buy shit and create the scarcity and make prices go up. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. This was interesting. Okay. Yeah, man, my screen's not coming on for the. That's not what I wanted. Hold on. All right. Well, this is interesting here. Stocks plummet. It's not really the headline I wanted to show you. It was basically that as stocks go down, it drags down the wealth effect. And if the wealth effect goes down, people don't feel as wealthy. They don't want to spend as much. They want to start to conserve. Not everybody who's in the stock market is wealthy. There's a lot of boomers who were in the stock market and they didn't make all that money. They invested over many, many years to have what they have. Just let you know. Another thing, Jim Cramer from CNBC. Okay, we're back on the extra screen. Cramer says Trump is following the perfect plan if the goal is to crash the stock market. I think there were like 15 or 10 stocks that were up today in the S&P 500. By the way, you can't invest directly into an index, but you could invest into a security that that mimics or tracks an index. So that's the story. I think that if you're properly diversified and you are at a stage in your life where by the way, diversification is a strategy that we use to mitigate risk, but it doesn't necessarily eliminate all risk in your portfolio. Doesn't necessarily prevent your portfolio from going down. But if you're diversified and you're 50 or 55 or 60, you're starting that glide path. You start coming out of growth and risk into more stable and income. You're all right. If you're starting that glide path too late, this is going to hurt. The problem now is people don't know what to do. Should I sell? Should I not? You should do everything based on your personal finance needs. If you need to sell and you have cash needs for your money that's in the market, then you sell. You don't wait for rebound, because people yesterday said they're going to wait for rebound. Saw a much worse day today than yesterday. Waiting doesn't pay when it comes to personal finance. Acting pays. Waiting when you're saving and investing, that pays. But when it comes to personal finance, you still need, if you need your money, you need to do it. You need to do what you got to do. All right, so it was a tough day. There's really not much more I have to add to that, because a lot of things you're hearing, the big Wall Street strategists and stuff like that. I'm a strategist also. I'm a Wall Street guy. Hey, listen, I've been a Wall Street guy for 35 years, but I talk to you in plain spoken English. We know each other. I'm one of you. So that's all I have to say on this. We'll see what next week brings. I could show you some charts of the S&P or an NVIDIA stock or bonds, but we really have no idea what the bottom could be. And I don't think reading the charts and technical analysis is what's going to help. I think being patient will help. I think understanding that you could see your accounts go down even more. And I think that's what you're going to have to, for most people, that's what we're going to have to do. And there's not much else. Patience. I know people say, well, if I sold everything yesterday, I'd be better off today. But I think one day you'll be better off if you just hold on. I just don't know what that day is going to be yet. And that's the thing with investing. You don't know what day that's going to be, but you're confident it's going to be there if given enough time. All right. Thank you so much for watching. If you need me for anything, shoot me a DM, ask me in the comments. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, and I'll be back Monday. Thank you.